Take your two hands, put them over each other, and place them over your belly button. Breathe in through your nose and focus only on how your hands go up. Breathe out through your mouth nice and slow, 4 seconds, and focus on your hands coming back down. Let's do this together. All that's important now is your hands going up and going down. Let's keep doing this, but in a normal way. Don't force yourself to breathe. Just breathe with your hands going up and your hands going back down. That's all that's important right now, is your hands. Breathe in and out through your mouth. Your hands are now going down. Your hands are now going up over your belly button. And now your hands are going down. Your brain will wander, but all that's important is your belly button and your hands. The air is in your stomach, not your lungs. Think of it that way. Into your belly button and out of your belly button. Try to smile with me as we are talking about our belly buttons. In through to your belly button, out of your belly button. Your belly button needs air. You're going to start to feel a sense of calm. Your brain is starting to focus and be centered. Your thoughts that were racing are coming back to you now. In, out, 4 seconds each. Relax your shoulders, feel them loosen up. Move your neck back and forth lightly, carefully. Just loosen all your muscles and breathe into your belly button and out of your belly button. You've now overcame the panic attack. If you're still feeling a slight sense of anxiety or perching back up a little bit, just go back to your belly button and your breathing. Anxiety is a feeling, just like this feeling of calmness that has come upon you is a feeling. All are temporary. It's okay to feel anxious sometimes. It's important to know that anxiety is not stemmed in a medical issue. It's you. It's your mind. It's busy. There's a lot going on, and it's okay. But when we're in this panic mode, we only need to focus on one thing. Hands overlapping, air into your belly button, and then out of your belly button. That's all that you need to think about right now. Everything else can wait. If you need to go to a bathroom to do this, go to the bathroom. If you're home, get yourself in a nice place to do this technique. The importance of this technique is to simply, it's not so much about the breathing. It's about focusing those crazy thoughts and subconscious fountains of uncomfortable energy to focus only on one thing versus 10. So when we focus on something like this, as funny as it is, our belly buttons and the air that goes into them and out of them, even though it's not really, but it's important when we focus on that because it takes your mind away from the anxiety. Once you can get your thoughts together, now we can kind of relax and recap a little bit. And now you can know the facts. I'm not going to sit here like all these other videos and tell you in the midst of a panic attack, don't worry, you're going to be okay, you're not going to die, just tell your mind that you're not going to die. That's not how we overcome things. In fact, that might actually make it worse. We only need to focus on one thing when we're in a panic attack, and that is just our simple breathing, or nothing. Now, I could tell you, the anxiety attack will never hurt you. You won't pass out. You're not going to die. Your heart is not going to race so fast that it's going to beat out of your chest and then run away down to the pottery barn. Your heart is an amazing organ, and if anything, the panic attack might make it stronger. I've had my heart rate go to over 200 beats per minute, and I've suffered from anxiety for 10 years. But I no longer allow anxiety to take ownership of my life. I still have it sometimes, and I always use the simplest of techniques. We don't need medication. You don't need an immediate fix. All you need is your mind. And to know that anxiety has no power over you and that you are not dying. Now let's move on to maybe some of the reasons why you might be having a continuous panic attack. Or this may just be one and only, and if it's only one and only, then good for you. And I hope that you, if you have it again, God forbid, tune into the video, and we'll breathe again. But if you suffer from chronic anxiety, such as myself, where you actually based your life off it, you planned routes that were nearest to the hospital even, on your drives. You're hyper aware of your heart rate and that it's skipping beats today, or it's going really fast, or it's going too slow. I feel dizzy. I feel weird. If you ever notice, you've always made it out of your panic attack. You're still here. You're watching the video. And it's also important to know that palpitations, the definition of them, is a faster or irregular heartbeat that's caused simply by your breathing or your mind. 9 out of 10 times the heart palpitation is caused by your breathing. We have a little something called a nervous system. One of the main nerves is the vagus nerve. When we breathe, our diaphragm pushes on that nerve, causes a little bit of a fluctuation, makes us aware of our heart beating differently, triggers the panic attack. Now we get all nervous, and then here we are. It's that simple. And I know it sounds like a lot, but it's really that simple. So the importance is to take our hands and put them over our belly button to stimulate the vagus nerve or to activate the vagus nerve. And as we breathe into our tummies, we activate this vagus nerve, and actually it slows our nervous system down, calms us down. So there's a physiological effect to this. But there's also a psychological one as well, and that it comes from the breathing, which takes our focus. Another good technique is to look at 3 things in a room. Only keep it to yourself, though, and don't talk. Pick that sign, maybe a picture frame, and then maybe something else. Then move 3 parts of your body. Squeeze my hand, wiggle a toe, maybe blink my eyes. Continuously do that process over and over, and you will eventually forget about the panic attack. Which also gives power to the fact that you are in control and not the anxiety, and that it's really not going to hurt you or kill you. Try those side effects, or try those techniques when you're having this. And it's also important to know what is your stimulating factors. So the environment that you're in, as you could see, my environment is very low light. It's good light, but it's not direct and intense. The environment is calm and clean, and some people like their house messy, that's fine, but have your environment be friendly to you. Lower stress. It's important if you suffer from chronic anxiety. Also, identify the subconscious contributing factors to your anxiety. The anxiety is coming from somewhere. 9 out of 10 of the times, there's some things going on in the conscience that maybe you're not willing to locate right now, or maybe you don't want to talk about. Or maybe it's just general health anxiety due to the circumstances of things that are happening in the world, and things of that nature. What's important to note is it's okay, and we all have this. I suffered from 3 cancers, and I had my kidney removed last year, and also had leukemia and a couple other things. I have general health anxiety. I also have subconscious anxiety, and then I have the anxiety of the anxiety, which is the fear of the anxiety coming while you're walking through a mall, for instance. It's important to note that you're going to be able to enjoy your life again. We together here at Life Positive want to give you the ability to have your own life again. And that's why I want to design some of these videos around positivity and giving you good stimulation instead of all the contributing negative factors such as the news, such as things that are just way beyond your control. I'm going to read you a scripture. I'm going to read you a prayer, not a scripture, and it's for everybody, whether you believe in God or not. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, but give me the courage to change the things I can. But please give me the wisdom to know the difference. That is so important on any level, whether you believe in God or not. To have the wisdom to know what you can and can't change. That's important because that can be the definition of whether you have an anxiety attack or not. The news is sometimes things you just don't need to see and that you cannot change. And I'm going to tell you something. I personally do not watch the news. I refuse to watch the news. I wake up in the morning and I thank God, and that's me, for my day and for what I have. I look out at the weather and I can gauge whether or not the day is going to be interesting or not. Do I watch some sort like local news? Yeah, I do, but only on special occasions. I don't wake up and make it a point to read the newspaper or watch the news. It's just not going to make a change in my day. Also, limiting your social media interactions. You know, social media is a great tool, keeps you close to your families, things like that, but it's also a horrible tool and causes great anxiety and stress. And also makes you believe that you should be someone that you're not. And you're perfect in your own way. In fact, you're an art piece that only one artist created, and it's only one. You can't duplicate it. You can't make copies of it. You are perfect and contribute to the world and the universe in your own perfect way. So there's no reason to change it or live up to someone else's standard. Okay? If you're stuck in a rut with bills and things, understand that we are all in that together. And that there's certain things that you just cannot change very quickly in that regard. But you can patiently tackle one step at a time. So if you have 4 bills, tackle one at a time and set up payment plans. Know that you have these options, but you just, instead of worrying or putting it on the back burner so that it wells up in anxiety later, tackle it one step at a time and say, all right, and now once we check that off, you're going to notice that those random anxiety attacks are going to slowly become less and less and less because you don't have a subconscious ailing you. There's things we got to do, but we just have to make sure we do it right. And also, it's important to know that your health. There's many things you could do to contribute to your health in a good way. There's also horrible things that you could do for your health, and it's making you worse every single day. One is don't be so over-controlling on your health. Don't try to be the healthiest person in the world, because I'll tell you right now, the moment you take too much control is the moment you gave up it. There's always a fine balance as the wisdom to know the difference. So take your vitamins, but don't overtake them. Take precautions to spreading and contracting things, but don't overprotect. Because the moment, that's when your mind, just like your heart, when you become hypersensitive to your heartbeat, your heart starts skipping. And that's a problem, because that's just, you're living every day like that, and that's just not being free. You're in bondage. The goal of this is to be free. And also to know the mechanisms of your enemy. That moves us on to the next part of this video. And if you're watching this long, I guess I'm interesting enough. The like if you want, Anyway, always know your enemies. I'll give you an example, and this is something that I didn't talk about since I was a little kid. Because I was afraid of what people think. But I'm not afraid anymore. So, growing up, since I was a little boy, I was afraid of elevators. I was terrified of elevators. It was one of my deepest, darkest fears, and I never told anyone. My father always wondered why we would go to the hospital to visit someone and I have to walk up 9 flights of stairs. Well, the truth is I was just absolutely terrified of them. To the point where I didn't know how to overcome it. So, as I got older, I've realized that I started to learn how they worked. And I was real inquisitive and astute to how they operated and understand the fundamentals of their end. So elevators, there's many different kinds, hydraulics, traction, things like that. I'm not going to get into that in this video because you're probably not interested in it. But the point is I learned everything about it, and so I knew how my enemy worked. And once I knew how it worked, I was able to board the elevator. I can hear the motor come on, I can understand the stages and phases of the elevator, and I knew what was coming next, and so therefore, I overcame the fear. And ended up becoming very astute to things that are really, we ride them every day, but nobody knows how they work. So the point is understand the mechanism of your anxiety attack. What the heartbeat, the fluctuation in your heart, what is that? Well, it's real. Your heart beats. There's something called sinus arrhythmia. So that is a regular boom, 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 boom heart rhythm that's caused by your breathing. It's more likely to happen in children, and it's actually even caused some children to pass out. They don't notice because it's like a quick pass. If you ever notice your kids running and they're going crazy and then they go, that's it. It's sinus arrhythmia. Their heart just skipped a beat. So it's normal. It's benign. It cannot hurt you. But sometimes you become hypersensitive to it and aware of it, and it could cause you an anxiety attack, and you could kind of be waiting for the next one to happen, and it won't. So it's important to know the mechanism of that, and that's probably the main cause of your heart palpitations and being worried about them. So the moment you know that, hey, it happens to children all the time when they're playing at recess, it happens to you too. Some people take it into their adult life. It's normal. Don't let that trigger your anxiety. And if it does, let's go back to the basic of this video. Breathing. Breathing and focusing the mind away from everything else. And take all the time you need. Also, love. Love breaks through all things. Perfect love casts out all fear. Meaning, there's many different types of love. You might be alone. But we have to love, ourselves too. And we have to love, I believe, something bigger than ourselves. We're floating around on a rock somewhere amongst billions and billions of galaxies, just perfectly placed from the sun to sustain life. I don't think it's much of a coincidence. So I love our loving creator. That's me. I believe. Maybe you do too. Maybe you don't. That's okay. Whether or not you do or you don't, I pray that you still find that love, that eternal love. And I think it will find you. But love casts out all things. And when you overcome love with evil, it's even as simple as, example. The world is very, very mad these days. And they're very quick to snap or bite at somebody. But what would your first reaction be to somebody disrespecting you? Well, you're going to be an asshole to them back, right? Well, that might not necessarily be the answer. What if you loved them back? It might change their whole world. What if you just be patient and say, you know what? You're right. Even if they're wrong. Maybe you're right. And then try to help them. And if they don't want the help, then just simply say, have a wonderful day. And mean it. Look at them in the eyes. Don't look away. The most important thing is to look them in the eyes. And then, you might have someone who is on the borderline of suicide. And that is a really, really sad, tough place to be. And if you're feeling that way, I want to tell you, many of us have felt that way. People have gone through these thoughts, but we overcome them with love and understand that you're not an animal, that you're not just this random person alone in the universe. You're loved. And I love you. And I don't even know who you are, but I know you're there, and I'm making this video out of love because I don't want to see us suffer anymore. We can overcome all of life's challenges. We could do this, but it takes love. I work a full-time job. My smart light just went out. I work a full-time job. I have so much going on in life, and yet I am taking the time to sit here and love you and to tell you this. So if we all did that one person at a time, even if it helps one person, you pay it forward and it just branches out into a triangle of many, many people. And I don't know if you've all saw that movie, Pay It Forward, but what a great movie and what a great concept, to follow. There was always something special about that movie to me. So look that up, Pay It Forward. It might give you a couple tears in your eyes, but it's a great concept, and I think we should follow it here in the world. So thank you so much for watching. Remember the breathing. Replay the video from the beginning to do it again and to overcome this anxiety. That's okay. And also, if this video helped you, you don't have to like and subscribe it. You could just drop me a thumbs up in the comments, and that'll tell me that you like it. And that tells me that I'm doing the right thing. I don't want to behoove somebody to subscribe. I know I say it in some of the other videos because it's like second nature coming out, but you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. You do that if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. It's yours truly at Life Positive. God bless you.